Landowners close Sirinimu Dam. Family call for justice. And Education Minister says no fees.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining me for Tuesday's news. The family of late Ruby Ann Laufer is calling on eyewitnesses to her untimely death to come forward. This was announced last night at a candlelight vigil at UPNG's Fourth Banner area, close to where she lost her life. The former Miss South Pacific PNG died tragically on Saturday afternoon in Port Moresby. Her partner, whom she was last seen with, is in police custody.
In a small but significant ceremony, family, friends, colleagues, UPNG law students and staff gathered at Fort Banner at the Waigani UPNG campus for a vigil held for the late Ruby Ann Laufer. The ceremony brought together people who knew and loved the late Miss South Pacific PNG 2012 to 2013. It was an emotional evening for everyone who attended. The family members want the police to carry out their investigations and are calling on eyewitnesses to come forward.
And of course, the process must continue through the police. The police must carry out their work without fear or favor. The police have got a heavy duty to carry. And everyone who has been a witness, an eyewitness, everyone who has been on this road, either Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, if you have seen with your own eyes what was happening on the street, please come forward and give your statement to the police. Mr. Laufer has told me that the post-mortem has been completed as of today. What the results of the post-mortem examination may reveal, we don't know.
Following the candlelight ceremony, sky lanterns were raised to the sky to commemorate her 25th birthday, which was yesterday. The former Miss PNG graduated with a law degree in 2015 from UPNG and was attending the legal training institution.
Of Nelson Mandela's story that Ruby wanted to become a lawyer and did become a lawyer and was to undergo professional training and complete it this year. At the moment, we're not in a position to tell you the details, but within the next 2 days, when things become clearer, the funeral arrangements would be announced.
The vigil was held at the location where the family believe the incident took place. Meanwhile, yesterday afternoon, NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Ben Turi said the man implicated in Ruby's death is in police custody. He reported the matter to the traffic police as a traffic accident on Saturday. He was questioned by officers from the Criminal Investigation Division Homicide Squad on Monday. Turi said the accused will be charged after an autopsy report is released. He said at this stage he won't make further comments until a medical report is released. Merlin Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
The opposition leader Don Pollier wants violence against women erased once and for all. He said this in a media release this afternoon while conveying his condolences to the family and friends of the late Ruby Ann Laufer. The death of the former Miss PNG shocked the nation with condolence messages and calls for justice on social media. He said despite the efforts of addressing violence against women, late Ruby Ann Laufer has become the latest victim in the hands of her alleged boyfriend. He also commended the efforts of the Metropolitan Superintendent Ben Turi and his officers in arresting the main suspect. A memorandum of understanding was signed today for the establishment of Papua New Guinea's first APEC study center. The MOU now enables the National Research Institute to assist with policy analysis and design in preparation for 2018. APEC study centers are set up to undertake research, disseminate information, and facilitate discussion on APEC-related issues, initiatives, and processes to help support APEC's vision and goals.
The MOU was signed at the Manasupe House today following one of the regular meetings of the National Organizing Committee for APEC 2018. APEC study centers are set up in APEC member economies to foster regional cooperation among tertiary and research institutes to promote academic collaboration on key regional economic challenges.
National Research Institution is one of the learning institutions, one of the institutions that does a lot of research into many of the issues that confront us today, from economic to social to environment to everything. So today's signing really is an important one. It's part of this preparation, is to get them involved in helping Hyven and Mr. Hako, who are in charge of policy design and formulation, so that they can be able to develop those policies.
Together, APEC study centers from the APEC economies form the APEC Study Center Consortium, which holds an annual conference hosted by one of the APEC study centers in the APEC host economy for that year. NRI Director Dr. Charles Yala said the National Research Institute will do all it can for when PNG will host its APEC Study Center Consortium come May next year.
I am grateful that the APEC Secretariat through this MOU is entrusting the PNG NRI the opportunity to host the APEC Study Center. The center is expected to play an important role in first hosting the APEC Consortium Conference to be held next year, and also make a contribution to the policy analysis leading up to the meeting, during and after the APEC meeting. This conference is intended to provide a forum for analyzing the theme and sub-themes of the 2018 APEC meeting, and it's an important event. We will do what we can do to ensure we have a successful consortium conference, and for that matter, a successful APEC meeting.
Over the years, the APEC Study Center Consortium conferences have analyzed and provided policy recommendations for a wide range of APEC issues. This year's consortium will be held in Vietnam in May. Deli Waigeno, National, MTV News.
Education Minister Nick Kuman today said that there should be no excuse for schools who are charging any sort of fees because the government has been funding 2.7 billion kina for tuition fee-free. Kuman said that this week, primary schools and secondary schools received their TFF funding, while elementary, vocational and other school bodies are next to receive.
Speaking on the FM 100 Talkback show this morning, the Minister for Education, Nick Kuman, said that on TFF alone last year, the government spent 2.7 billion kina, and there is no excuse for school administrations to be charging fees.
2.7 billion to last year. So that's the amount of money that we invested into our education system. Government is paying the school fee. We have paid up to last year. We want to make sure that the students must access to school.
He said that primary and secondary schools have received TFF funding for the first quarter.
School to secondary school has got the first half of the TFF been paid, and by the end of this week we'll have the elementary school, 4 schools with flexible open education, and I think there's one more. The permitted schools have not. The money had not been remitted into their accounts, which will be done by the end of this week. So in other words, all the TFF will be paid.
On the components of TFF, Kuman said infrastructure is supposed to be covered by district government and provincial government funding.
Directly going to our school system throughout the country. If an open member received 10 million kina for a district, 20% of that goes straight to education, earmarked for education. Provincial, the governors receive those money, 20% goes straight to education. And therefore, their job is to build the capacity. We pay the school fee. We make sure the teaching and learning resources are at the schools. We make sure that the teachers are trained properly and they are at school. That's our responsibility. But when it comes to infrastructure, it's it's a coordinated approach of the government, working with our leaders of the country and with our province, our system in the province, and they should respond and help us to build the capacity.
A total of 75 million kina for the first quarter TFF funding is being dispersed this week. Adelaide Xerox Kari, National EMTV News.
Data collection for tuition fee-free policy is important, especially when it comes to identifying ghost schools, teachers and false numbers of students enrolled in schools. Education Minister Nikuman says he understands the importance of data collection and it is a priority for the Education Ministry.
With the tuition fee-free policy, schools are given the TFF funding based on the number of students enrolled and the Education Department's system of grading schools. Minister for Education has said his ministry has tried to crack down on ghost schools and teachers along with false number of students attending the schools by having updated data that is sent from head teachers and principals.
Years of implementation, I think we've seen some changes. There are some serious changes. There were instances of inflated common rolls. There were instances of teachers, ghost teachers all over the country. And particularly with TFF, the new IT system that we use, we can quickly pick up, the flagging system is able to pick up there's a ghost name.
Education Secretary Uka Kombra says there are 4 components that identify if the school is eligible for TFF funding.
In the school, registered. And 2, there must be registered schools. So there must be a school code, a unique code that we give out to every school. 3, they must have teachers in that school. The teachers who are in there, we will see it through the payroll, that there are teachers actually in that school to confirm that that school is in operation. And fourthly, they must have an active bank account. So those are the 4 basic minimum requirements that we want to every school to have.
Kuman also said that the Education Ministry has placed TFF coordinators in each province.
Every province now has got a mini ombudsman of TFF. An officer has been appointed to every province in this country, and they are now on the ground to basically manage the TFF. If there's any issues, any complaints that comes on TFF, the first person to the contact point is the TFF coordinator in each province.
Adelaide Xerox Kari, National EMTV News.
Parents of students attending Gerahu Secondary School in Port Moresby will discuss the tuition fee-free policy to scale down its impacts on the administration of the school. Parents and Citizenship President Fred Sabume told EMTV News parents are considerable of the policy, however, will decide if the policy is helpful or not. Sabume made this statement prior to the opening of 2 new computer labs and 4 classrooms today.
Parents and Citizenship President Fred Sabume says the TFF policy has its concerns from both the school administration and parents. He says following the circular by the Education Department, parents and stakeholders will meet this Sunday to discuss the policy and find the best available solutions in helping the school.
With this circular coming out, we want to help the school in any ways. Fundraising, collecting fees from the parents. We want to do it because we want the best for our kids. I'm inviting everybody to come. They must come now. They may sit down and address the problem. I'm good or no good.
In 2016, parents of students attending Gerahu Secondary contributed 250 kina each to help build houses for teachers. A duplex is currently in construction and hoped to be completed this year.
For this year, we are planning to build 1 3-bedroom duplex.
Gerahu Secondary School is a level 10 school with an enrollment of nearly 2,000 students and 64 teaching staff. Today, the school was graced by local MP Michael Malabag, who opened a complex housing for classrooms and 2 computer laboratories.
It is them who are the future of this great nation, Papua New Guinea. It is them who will be the next members of parliament, the next doctors, the next nurses.
The building cost 1.4 million kina, co-funded by the Northwest District and NCD. It took nearly 14 months to complete its construction phase. Jack Lapava Jr., National MTV News.
The debate on the tuition-free policy continues, with the Education Minister Nick Kuman calling on the opposition leader Don Pollier to suggest a better policy. Kuman also said proper investigation was carried out before principals were suspended from their post. Bethany Harriman with this report.
Today on the FM 100 Talkback show, Education Minister Nick Kuman called on the opposition leader Don Pollier to suggest a better policy than the tuition fee-free policy.
And I know the call from the opposition leader. It didn't come out clear. It didn't come out clear in the 2017 budget that we had last year in terms of his education policy. Whether he's going to abolish TFF, it didn't come out clear. Or is he going to piggyback on the policy of this government?
It comes after the opposition leader publicly announced that the TFF policy was unrealistic.
But what has happened here is not what it should be, but what is completely confusing, irresponsible, and destructive, and what is sabotaging the schools today.
Minister Kuman and the Education Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra also used the airtime to respond to public outcry over the suspension of about 30 principals who were suspended in the southern region alone.
Many principals and teachers and those people who are doing their normal duties have been suspended illegally, therefore charging fees that are necessary for them to charge, and justifiably they're charging because the government has not put in the money into their accounts as had been promised time and time again.
Secretary's directive in terms of instructions on policies of government or under the Act, the teachers are required to follow this. These are lawful directives.
Bethany Harriman, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues with more after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. A soldier charged for stealing by false pretense had his court case struck off the Waigani Committal Court due to lack of police evidence. Police allege that the accused, Clarion Roger Salun, and his girlfriend impersonated employees of a car dealer and collected money from other soldiers at Mara Barracks with the promise to sell vehicles at cheap prices. The amount Salun allegedly collected amounted to over 56,000 kina. The alleged offence occurred in July 2016 and Salun was arrested 2 months later in September 2016. This morning, the Waigani District Court struck out the case on technical grounds and ordered that the charges against Salun be dropped and his bail money be refunded. 15 families living on a piece of land at Lace Top Town area staged a peaceful march to the Morbe provincial government yesterday to voice their frustrations after they were served an eviction notice. The families, who are not settlers nor squatters, have been living on the piece of land for over 45 years. They told MTV they have been going to the lands department and were in the process of acquiring a title when a particular investor issued an eviction notice on them. Martha Lewis with this report.
Up to 200 people living on the portion of land known as Section 1, Allotment 70 and 75 vented their frustrations after they were informed to vacate that portion of land. Last week, Lay police tried to issue eviction notices to them. Residents said they were informed last Thursday. Chairman of Ward 2 Lay-Eben local level government Thompson Banguma said the officers who served them the notice did not explain to them that it was an eviction notice. They were told it was an eviction order and they were told to sign it.
Told us that they wanted us to sign an eviction notice. And according to the police now, they said it is a notice.
Banguma said there was no copy of the land title presented to them by the particular buyer to prove that he had bought the portion of land. Nor they were informed about who sold the portion and who bought them. At this point, it's not sure who owns the portion of land.
Here, we want to really know also who really owns this land. Does the Housing Commission have title to this land? Or is it still under the Lands Department? Who is the real custodian?
Between 2013 and 2016, there has been several evictions carried out by the National Housing Corporation in Leh. And there were instances where the provincial government took various parties to court over land grabbing. The residents are calling on the national government to explain why illegal land dealings are still happening after they had already put a stop to any sale of the National Housing Corporation houses or any land deals. The residents will be putting together a petition and will present to the Morobe Governor Kelly Naru next week. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Leh.
A geologist for 30 years, now turned Chuave MP Wera Mori, says the oil, gas and petroleum projects are being funded by loans affecting the economy. He explains from experience that in the last 10 years, developers covered landowner and state equity. In recent times, that has changed. He says the state and landowners are getting loans to pay for equity affecting the amount of dividends being paid. Bethany Herman with this report.
Wera Mori was a geologist for nearly 30 years before running for politics and winning the Chuave open seat. He spoke to EMTV yesterday about the way projects are being developed. The Chuave MP says the state is taking out loans to pay for equity. In the past, developers handled that part of the development and later paid dividends.
In the past, we have a situation where when it comes to especially new development, it was never the practice of the government to go and borrow money to pay for what it wants to participate.
Today, mining companies are expected to pay for more profit, while in some instances, landowners have to pay back bank loans. The new system ultimately affects how much money is retained in the Papua New Guinean economy. But the national government argues that it has budgeted for loan servicing and is managing the economy. Wera Mori is talking about how the LNG project was developed and how equity was bought into oil search.
So when places went to borrow money to fund the development of program, it had also had to borrow money on behalf of the other partners, including the independent state of Papua New Guinea. And that through the production and over a period of time, they managed that and constantly pay dividends back to the state. And of course, when it comes to Panguna did the same. Okteri, they all did the same.
On numerous occasions, the national government has defended how it is managing the economy, but it has raised profit taxes in the mining sector, and mining companies have concerns. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
Garden City today opened its doors to Port Moresby's business community in a move to partner in showcasing their products and services to the general public. According to real estate agency Ray White's administration manager Mitch Amurao, 18 companies took part in today's business open day, including the popular Paradise Foods Limited, among others.
In the heart of Boroko, Garden City Shopping Centre was once a glory pool for Port Moresby City residents. Even before Harbour City and Vision City, this building, over 3 decades old, was once a teenage hangout spot in the 80s and 90s. As the years passed and the city expanded, businesses moved on while Garden City remained. Today's Business Open Day attracted companies from around the nation's capital. Among them, mobile phone company B-Mobile Vodafone, showcasing merchandises. Sharing the Valentine's Day fever was Paradise Foods Limited with their Queen Emma chocolate brand, giving taste samples and selling chocolate gift packs for the day. Other companies had slashed prices on their products, while others took the opportunity to give the public a view of what they are about and what they offer.
We are having our Valentine's Showroom Festival or event in Garden City, Boracay, and we have 18 companies right now that are participating with us. Everybody's are invited to see, or you can visit Garden City, Boracay for this event. It's going to be a 2-day event from today until tomorrow.
This former go-to is home to PNG's free-to-air television station EMTV since its inception. EMTV celebrates 30 years in this building come June this year. Ray White Real Estate, hosting this 2-day exposition, looks forward to reviving the life that once buzzed within these walls and restore its glory, starting small with this 2-day business open day. Lorraine Gabina, National EMTV News.
And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3150 in the interbank markets. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3075 $0.3997 Australian dollars, $0.2881 euro, and 34.71 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, cocoa, and copra closed lower. Gold closed the day higher. Crude oil and copper closed higher, while palm oil closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 142.79 points higher. The ASX is trading at 5.45 points lower, and the ordinaries closed at 2 points lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. East New Britain Provincial Electoral Office has recorded a total of 62 intending candidates for 2017 general elections. 15 of them are intending to contest a regional seat. East New Britain Returning Officer Joab Voivoy says the candidate lists are yet to be finalised as they are getting interest from East New Britain people living in other parts of the country. Edwin Fidelis reports from Kokopo.
Over the past few weeks, the Electoral Office in Kokopo has seen an increase in the number of registration forms from intending candidates who want to contest the elections in the East New Britain province. With only about 2 months remaining before the nominations are opened, 15 intending candidates have indicated their interest to contest the regional seat, 11 for Gazelle, 23 for Kokopo, 11 for Pomio, and 6 for Rabaul District. Returning Officer Joab Voivoy says those figures might change when the nominations opens in April. General elections in East New Britain province are usually peaceful and orderly. It's an advantage for election managers to spend less on security during and after the election period. Meanwhile, Mr. Voivoy says the election preparations for the province are on schedule. The common roll has been updated and they are waiting the second phase to begin to confirm names of eligible voter in every LLG. Their only concern is to get the common roll right to avoid dispute by voters during the polling and make sure every eligible voter casts their vote. A major election awareness is also expected to follow in the coming weeks to prepare the people for the polling, mostly in the ward levels. While the figures of intending candidates may have increased this election, the voters, however, still remain skeptical about service delivery. Each intending candidate will have their own election policies. Most of them are expected to be centered around service deliveries, and that is good roads infrastructure, health and education services for the people. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Election Manager for Morbe Province, Simon Soheke, says he is confident that his office will deliver a successful election despite public criticisms regarding elections in the province. Mr. Soheke says the election preparations for the province is on track and are being finalized. Most of the work are expected to be completed by the end of this month.
Working very hard to complete this. Our set target for completion of all the roles for Morbe is end of this month, hopefully, but the latest would be in the second week of March. After that, we will have our data sent to Mosby And end of March, we should have all the data back into our respective LLGs, districts and LLGs for objection. Those who have missed out, we will cater for those people who missed out on the first enrollment in this objection period, and also we will get other Form 11. Hopefully we will get those ones from Mosby, and we will cater for those who have not enrolled in the first exercise. But I am confident, and I have a strong belief that in Morobe we will deliver the elections, although we
3 PNG Defence Force Lieutenant Colonels have been promoted to the rank of full lieutenants. They are Lieutenant Colonels Albert Palawa, Andrew Dopeke and Tony Oawa. Their promotion was witnessed by military personnel and families at the Defence Force headquarters in Port Moresby.
The 3 Lieutenant Colonels have over 20 years of experience in the force. Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Oawa was appointed as the Chief of Personnel and will be in charge of all administrative operations and the welfare of all soldiers in the country. Oawa did his training as an officer cadet at the PNG Defence Force Academy in Lae, now known as the Joint Forces Training College. He served as a soldier in both the 1st and 2nd Royal Pacific Islands Regiment.
Responsible for recruitment of new soldiers and discharge of the old soldiers, the promotions, award of any awards that we need to give to our servicemen, and most importantly, their pay and so forth.
Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Dopeke entered the force as a cadet officer in 1986. He was commissioned as 2nd Lieutenant in 1988 after completing the officer cadet training and was attached to the 1st Royal Pacific Islands Regiment at Tauranga. Dopeke has been promoted to Defense Attaché and will be stationed in New York to oversee the PNGDF operations in the United States. His wife and daughter were present to witness his promotion.
So my job will be to liaise or maybe to work as a defense security advisor with the Foreign Affairs of the U.S. Embassy, PNG Embassy in the U.S.
Lieutenant Colonel Palawa was also promoted to the full rank of Colonel and will be based in New Zealand.
And my job there basically is to represent the PNGDF. Anything to do with matters, defense matters between New Zealand and PNGDF. I represent the PNGDF there, so I liaise with our commander and the rest of the headquarters PNGDF.
Palawa joined the force in the 1980s and held various positions until his recent promotion. PNGDF commander, when congratulating the colonels, said he is working hard to transform the force and the force is looking at appointing the right people to key positions. Taklagunga, National EMTV News.
South Bougainville MP Timothy Masiu says he will strive to change the image of South Bougainville. Mr. Masiu made these remarks during the commissioning of the office of the South Bougainville MP and the New Dawn FM radio station in Bowen.
The dual celebration was even more special for the people of South Bougainville, with the presence of national government ministers and members of the National Alliance Party led by Treasury Minister Patrick Pruich, Correctional Service Minister Jimmy Semateb and Transport Minister Malakai Tabar. On Friday, they arrived in the autonomous region of Bougainville and were met at Kirtis Aropa Airport by the acting autonomous Bougainville government president Patrick Nisera. Buin or South Bougainville has been forgotten for over years. Mr. Masiu said more tangible developments will be seen beginning with Buin Town as the central business district. For the first time, an office of the South Bougainville MP for the people was established.
This office will enable easy access for both the ABG, the PNG government, aid donors, NGOs, business partners, and all important friends.
And Mr. Masiu kept to his promise to support locally owned radio station, Nidon FM, to set up in Buin. This was captured in a news story on June 8 last year on his plans following his by-election victory. And for the first time, the people of South Bougainville can now tune into a radio station.
It is for the people in the remotest and mountainous areas of South Bougainville to have access to same information on government development initiatives and policies as those living in our so-called urban areas.
Nidon FM Managing Director Aloysius Lauke was proud to bring the frequency of 89.9 FM to South Bougainville, which he says has brought change. Meanwhile, the National Government's Treasury Minister Patrick Pruitt said he trusts the South Bougainville leadership in delivering the National Government's expectation and for working closely with the autonomous Bougainville government in service delivery.
Although I'm a simple time also member of Parliament, he is able to deliver the required services in Buin, in South Bougainville.
In Boca, Fabian Haklitz, National EMTV News.
As of 9 this morning, the Koyari landowners closed off the valves at Sirinimu Dam in protest over the government's lack of response to their claims, which was lodged last week Tuesday. The petition, addressed to the Ministry of Works and Implementation, underlines their demands to the government concerning a delay in the construction of the 5-kilometer stretch of road from border to the Sirinimu Dam site.
Over 200 Koyari landowners blocked off PNG Power's access to the dam site in sullen protest after having taken the keys to the dam's valves off PNG Power's employees at the site with consent from its head office. After almost 4 years of lodging inquiry after disappointing inquiry into the road's prolonged construction, they have taken a united stand against the government. The landowners are resolute not to surrender to any other negotiations as long as they have possession of the dam's keys. Instead, they are calling on the Works Minister Francis Awesa to personally lead a delegation up to the site and address their demands. They are adamant they will not have anyone else speak to them or entertain summons for a meeting in Port Moresby. According to Koyari LO company Sirinimu Development, 30 million kina was allocated by the government through the Works Department in 2014 for the construction, renovation and improvement of roads and infrastructure within Rauna and Sirinimu. 10 million kina of the funds were committed to the construction of the Border Sirinimu stretch of road. While the contract was awarded to NC Construction in 2014 to upgrade the road, none of the performance indicators stated in a receipt of payment from the Department of Finance to the Department of Works have materialized. The road has neither shown substantial improvement or in any state to be described as in fair or good condition. The landowners have now laid out the following demands: that the government terminates NC Construction's contract and award it to Dekanai Construction immediately, and give a transparent account of how the 10 million kina was spent since 2014. At present, access to the 5-kilometer road has been blocked off by the landowners indefinitely to everyone, with the exception of the community-based trucks operating along it. Melissa Gaviro, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News will be back with Trukai Sports after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. PNG high jump and long jump specialist Relly Kaputin was honored with a Special Achievement Award last weekend at the Panhandle Sports Hall of Fame Annual Awards in Amarillo, Texas. The award was in recognition of Kaputin becoming the first athlete since 2012 to earn All-American honors in 3 different events at the same national championships. In accepting the Special Achievement Award, Kaputin said she had been working very hard to achieve her goals in all her competitions. Kaputin was part of PNG's success in the 2015 Pacific Games and is the current national record holder in the women's long jump. The BSB school cricket program run by Cricket PNG will now venture to the East New Britain and Southern Highlands provinces. This was highlighted today at the program's 2017 launch at the Bavaroko Primary School here in the nation's capital.
With a successful outreach to over 180,000 participants in 11 provinces since 2009, the BSB school cricket program is now venturing to other remaining centers. The Highlands region has seen a lot of interest over the past few months, and Cricket PNG is now looking at introducing the program to Southern Highlands as it will be the host of the 8th PNG Games. East New Britain has also shown interest, and CPNG is already working towards establishing the development program there. In the nation's capital alone, interest has been phenomenal, with the countless number of school children raising their hands to take part every year. This year is no different. In Bavaroko Primary School alone, the program has already got its hands full.
We're looking at partnering with the Sports Foundation. We have partnered with them to deliver some training for staff, that's presenter and assessor. As development officers, you need these skills, bowling, batting. These are skills that you impart to students, and PNG Sports Foundation through Oceania Sports Education Program have come on board. ICC, International Cricket Council, Queensland Cricket Council, and the PNC Olympics Committee.
The development program is aimed at providing an opportunity for children to be introduced to the sport of cricket at an early age. In doing so, CPNG will be using this as an avenue to produce professional cricketers to supply the national sides, the PNG Barramundis and the Lawas. Barramundi's youngster Dogorabau is a product of this program.
Especially the outlet centers. If you are in Mount Agen, Goroka, Chiwaka, I want to encourage you to take up the sport of cricket, not forgetting other centers like Lei, Medeng, Milen Bay, and Popondera.
And in 2016 alone, the female participation fell short by 1% to the male's 50%, and this year the BSB school cricket will strive to equalize the participation rate.
Girls, you love cricket? Thank you.
Dina Rose Raiko, National EMTV Sports.
Still in cricket, the Hebo PNG Barramundis redeemed themselves yesterday evening with a 4-wicket win over the New South Wales 11. A better performance from the Barras as they meet with this same team last week did not yield good results. Their win yesterday surely puts them in a better stance for the Australia Prime Minister's 11 curtain raiser. They will be playing tomorrow against the Australia Cricket Team 11. Chukai Sports continues after the break. Stay tuned.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. To football, Morebay Governor Kelly Naru has expressed pleasure at the performances of 2-time NSL champions, the Lae City Dwellers. Naru, when presenting funds to the club, stated that the club has strongly been associated to the growth of football in the Morebay province, and he is proud that they will be representing the country at the Oceania Champions League.
The governor, as patron of the 2015 and 16 Telecom NSL champions, was on hand to present a massive 1 million kina boost to the club, its second such funding in 2 years, and was all praise on their achievements so far.
This government has been obliged in the last couple of years to throw its support behind Lae City Dwellers, and I am
greatly honored and pleased to appreciate and acknowledge the result that these young men have produced.
Governor Naru further said during the presentation that the government of Morbe's support to the Lay City dwellers is themed as Christ in Football Ministry, which mirrors the high code of ethics, discipline and standards set by players themselves and management. With the Lay Football Association being the biggest in Papua New Guinea, Naru has urged for people to take into account the players' welfare and get official club endorsement when addressing issues affecting the association collectively made up of football clubs. He made these comments in response to the ongoing political saga currently engulfing football in the country.
Papa Mama, me play putting people money go inside long, think him walk about long all inside long this la sports. Na you play, you know can turn him na make him where by 3 man long all, na 3 man blong me play, and by bagarap because law politics blow big man inside long. Boardroom long football.
The Lay City dwellers have been placed in Group C in the OFC Champions League, which will see them take on defending champions Auckland City, Solomon Islands runners-up Western United, and Vanuatu debutants Malampa Revivers. Captain Raymond Gunemba is expected to join the rest of his teammates for the Champions League. Jeremy Mogi, National TV Sports.
And that ends Chukai Sports. The weather details for the next 24 hours after the break.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region, fine although cloudier times in Port Moresby and mostly fine in Daru, Kerema, Alutau and Popondetta. In the Momasi region, cloudy periods expected in all centres. In the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine in all centres. And in the Highlands region, cloudy periods in all centres.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Now recapping our main stories for tonight. Landowners close Sirinimu Dam. Family of former Miss PNG call for justice, and Education Minister warns schools not to charge fees. And that's the way it is this Tuesday, the 14th of February 2017. From the EMTV news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.